Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast here by Adrian Weather Forecast. As you guys can tell, this is going to be another severe weather update, but this is going to be actually a video more for tomorrow. I know there's still severe weather that has yet to really start much of the South Central for today. I'll be focusing on that, but mainly this video is going to be really for tomorrow and also Friday, where we have that huge severe weather threat. And as you guys can tell, I have a new map. And also, we have major updates on all the Cape Valleys, the radar, and all of that. So be sure to stay tuned. Very likely, we have a bigger threat actually for tomorrow than today. So very likely, we can be seeing more of a tornadoes, hail, and even winds out there in parts of the Midwest and even parts of the Ozarks for tomorrow. So be sure to watch the whole video so you get all the information you need. But without further ado, this is the video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We actually are not too far away from 2,290 subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button, share the video to anyone that you think will get hit and affected by the severe weather. But without further ado, this is this video. So this is the map I just made, not too far. I was actually going to use it for tomorrow's video, but I actually just thought about doing another video today or right now. So this is what I have right now, and I actually decided to include the general risk in a color as well. But as you see, I feel like we could possibly have an enhanced risk tomorrow as well. This is going to be including parts of Illinois, maybe even Missouri. There will only really part about Missouri. I really think it won't be as strong once it arrives. But I think this could possibly happen. I'm not I'm not as really sure about this entering Missouri. But if it does, it really will likely obviously be into the northeastern part of the state. And then we might even have our first enhanced for Michigan of the year. It's going to be that far southwestern tip there. And this could definitely bring in a risk for a lot of populated areas like Quincy, Chicago, areas like Peoria, Aurora, even possibly Gary, Indiana. So it's like northwestern Indiana, far southwestern Michigan, much of north central Illinois, and far northeastern Missouri could possibly have the worst of the really the severe weather for tomorrow. And then I think we can obviously have a very widespread, a slight risk that can be all the way up to the south central, where we have that severe weather mostly likely today as well. So we can be seeing the severe weather all the way from Oklahoma down up to Michigan. So definitely a very widespread threat for possibly for some tornadoes, hail, and obviously it looks like we can be seeing also very strong straight line winds as well. And it's very likely, since we do have an incoming cold front here that's going to be pushing in, we'll have a very big severe weather risk throughout these areas as well. And then that very dark green color, we have a marginal risk. That's where we have a very low risk for severe weather that could likely cause tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. But we'll very likely see some very strong pop-up bands likely, but not, they won't be as severe as the enhanced and slight risk. And then the other very light green color, that's a general risk. There you most likely will be seeing very small, very minor pop-up bands, and you might not even see severe weather in the general risk. It's just a possibility. You guys can be seeing some really small, minor severe weather bands that will last a couple minutes that really won't bring any hail whatsoever, really any strong wind gusts, and really not even a possibility for tornadoes, but still can't rule out the possibility. So now let's get into the models here. So like I said earlier in this intro that I said I was going to talk briefly on today's severe weather, so this is what I'm really talking about. So of course we still have the enhanced risk, and it has pushed a bit more into western Texas now, including Lubbock, and that's going to be including parts of the northwestern part of Texas and far western Oklahoma. There we have an enhanced risk, but we do have a very small tornado risk. Seems like the tornado risk for tomorrow actually will be a lot higher, and then we still have a slight risk for that parts of the north central plains or the central plains and parts of the Midwest, and also including parts of the south central as well. So it looks like we also not only will be seeing a bigger threat for severe weather in general for tomorrow with hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds, but it seems like we'll obviously have a more populated area for that actually will be impacted by that severe weather. So we actually have, it's not really too normal to actually have an enhanced risk with a 2% chance for tornadoes. When we have that really that enhanced risk for because of that hail threat and the wind threat, we have a significant severe risk. And we also have that 30% chance of hail. We've already seen possibly up to 3-inch sized hail already. Like I said, I really won't think we will be getting anything larger than really 3.75 in an inch, and nothing really larger than 4 inches. Many of you guys thought that we'll see more than 4 inches, but really had to doubt it. And then we also have the very strong severe weather related winds. This is definitely going to cause a lot of straight line winds. Definitely going to cause power outages, down trees, and a lot of issues there. out there in those areas that can be seeing possibly 80 plus knots in some of these bands here. And then here's we look into tomorrow. We already have a slight risk that has been issued, but very likely we'll have an enhanced risk. Most likely for, of course, these areas right here, if it will be issued, most likely around right there. And then the slight risk will definitely move down to the south, a lot more to Oklahoma. Definitely be seeing some strong severe weather. And basically my map's a bit more different. We're not extremely close because we have multiple updates from now on to tomorrow morning, so that's exactly why it's not extremely close. But we already have a slight risk and most likely an enhanced risk. We have a slight risk now for a huge populated area all the way just south of Detroit, including Toledo, just north of Indianapolis, including South Bend, Auburn, Fort Wayne, much of Illinois, actually, Chicago, Rockford, Peoria, Washington, Aurora, Springfield, St. Louis, Jefferson City, St. Joseph, Kansas City, Wichita, Joplin, and even in Miami, Oklahoma. You guys are all including that slight risk, so definitely likely we can be seeing some possibilities for some tornadoes and very likely damaging winds and possibly tornadoes. As we now go into tornado threat, we already have a 5% chance. I think tops will be seeing a 10% chance, but very unlikely for a significant risk. And there's a very let me just go a 0.01% chance of actually seeing a 15% chance, and many guys are also saying 15% chance. That's very unlikely, and I wouldn't really say that as of right now. And it's like there's like a 0% chance, and then we have the 2% chance all the way from Oklahoma, parts of Texas to Ohio and Michigan. So very widespread tornado threat, and also the hail threat's very widespread. I could see a 30% chance issue, but it's not guaranteed. I really think tornado threats are really going to be a huge threat, though, for tomorrow. 15% chance between Chicago, Davenport, Kansas City, Gary, and then wind threats definitely be very widespread as well. We're going to be seeing very strong non-severe severe weather-related winds and strong severe related winds, and that's going to be very widespread, as you guys can see. Now, as we're going to look into tomorrow, as we get look into Thursday, which is obviously tomorrow, here we have that severe weather developing as parts of Iowa, throughout the Wisconsin and Illinois area. The worst of severe weather tomorrow will actually be in the overnight hours, getting close into Friday morning. So here we look into tomorrow, Thursday, going to be seeing very powerful bands already moving into areas like Rockford, heading towards areas into western Michigan, very strong and scattered bands all the way into the Ohio Valley. So definitely a widespread threat, especially with all the energy here. But as we now get into Friday, early morning, we have very strong potential QLCSs to develop, strong supercells developing over parts of northern Illinois and parts of all the way from Kansas to Iowa. We can definitely see multiple squall lines as we do have that incoming cold front. And look at this monster band right here. That's going to be really hitting these areas like Chicago, Gary, South Bend, areas into far southwestern Michigan. An extreme, this is definitely be a very large squall line that pass areas like Peoria, Washington, areas into all the way into Toledo, and then we have a severe weather risk all the way to Oklahoma as well. We'll be watching, monitoring for maybe, of course, that extension of slight risk. And then this is really the only reason why I do see this enhanced risk moving to Missouri. That's going to be heading towards St. Louis, Jefferson City, and then we have this squall line kind of fall apart a bit. It's going to be really a linear, really long linear band there that's possibly affecting all the way into the Ohio Valley. As we now look into today as well, we have these pop-up bands throughout Texas and Louisiana, very small but potential large very small supercells that could possibly have rotation, cause tornadoes. But as we now get into tomorrow, we're also going to be seeing that severe weather risk throughout parts of Texas and Oklahoma, very widespread threat. This is exactly why I think we can have this slight risk extend all the way into Ohio. So here we have those very large and long QLCS and also squall lines, and a huge risk as well for Kansas and Oklahoma. I don't see an enhanced risk happening, but I do see a slight risk. I'm not going to rule out the possibility for an enhanced risk, but I don't exactly think it will be high enough for it, because I think the probability for tornadoes, hail, and winds will be too low for those Oklahoma areas there, and that can obviously bring some really strong bands, and then we can possibly have another severe weather outbreak coming into the weekend. So definitely a non-stop severe weather for this week. It was calm last week compared to what we've seen the past past couple weeks, but this week's going to be extremely active, like non-stop severe weather. Since Monday, we've seen severe weather in these areas. Cape Valleys will continue to get a bit higher as we continue the evening hours. Going to see a lot more moisture, including instability, including areas of moisture, overday heating, all of that. You tend to see the highest Cape Valleys at the end of the day when you've gone all through all that overday heating. So we'll be seeing around 3,300 joules per kilogram to 3,600 joules per kilogram. Really not seeing a huge tornado threat, only seeing severe weather threat, and capped extremely low though. So not going to be really seeing possibly for capping out for today. As we now get into tomorrow, here we have the Cape Valleys that go all the way up into Wisconsin to Texas. So we're seeing a bit of a jump of Cape Valleys here as well in the Midwest. They're going to be seeing possibly 2,000s and even some 1,000 across the Midwest early on. So soon as like I said, Thursday, if it does see really strong severe weather, it will be mainly in the afternoon hours or evening. We are seeing that possibly for tornadoes though, and we're seeing some mid 2000s though. And as we now get into Friday morning, that's like I said, when we've seen the highest numbers there, going to be seeing some very high 4000s out there into the south central, but also not we've seen that huge threat though for extreme supercells, but very likely we'll be seeing a very high cap there. Seeing that Cape Valleys very high Cape Valleys will be maintained in south central. We have all that Gulf moisture, so we'll be seeing a lot less Cape Valleys here, but we'll be seeing up to the amount of Cape to produce these severe weather bands. Plus, we have that incoming cold front, so it's a perfect scenario there. Also, we have a lot more wind shear flow throughout the Midwest than we do in the South Central there. So we have no wind shear really in this area, but we have it for here. So that's why we also have the probability for strong severe weather a lot higher today or tomorrow for these areas and Friday. Here we have very low possibility for supercells right now, but we'll continue to see that moving on into Kansas. Could be seeing a decent number here. Going to be seeing some 20s there. And we'll be seeing some numbers. These obviously won't be extremely high right now, but we are going to be seeing really only some single digits for supercells to form out there into the Midwest. They're really underestimating that supercell possibility. Same thing here, but for the European model, this is showing a bit higher number. It's going to be seeing up to 5s in parts of Iowa and Illinois there. And as we now move later on, we can possibly get an 8 on this supercell composite parameter, which isn't extremely high. It's kind of on the lower side. But of course, we've seen the NAM, we've seen the HRRR models, and we can get up to a 10. That's really the highest we'll get, which is actually, I think, underestimating this. And last thing we'll be looking at is the wind shear. Of course, it's going to be seeing a lot more wind shear flow here. Low level jet coming in. Of course, going to be seeing most likely that low pressure system kind of forming off right here. Going to be seeing some really strong severe weather and a lot of wind shear flow throughout Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Michigan. That's going to cause that severe weather now. As this shear does move to the south, that's going to cause these bands now to move to the south as well, and impacting these areas as well. So wind shear is a lot higher. It's not extreme really. It's not really enough wind shear to make this a very huge outbreak, but we do have a lot more wind shear here in these areas than we are seeing the south central today, which is exactly why I'm not really worried about this severe weather in the south central today as well. I think definitely tomorrow could be a lot worse. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.